Live, going live.
We are live on YouTube.
Going live, yeah.
Steph. Or not. What?
Huh?
Thought I was going to. This little fruit fly is pissing me off.
Make sure my volume is down.
This little fruit fly is right up in my shit.
Fruit fly, yeah.
Get him?
Got him, I think. I pulled a Mr. Miyagi on him.
Nice.
Daniel-san.
Actually looks very close all of a sudden. Like the camera. We were playing around with our cameras before. We were going to.
Oh, is that what we call it?
I see what you did there. All right.
You need a zoom lens.
All right, ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Going live. Recording in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello and welcome to the Freemasons podcast with your hosts, Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry.
Worshipful Brother Joe.
No Ken.
No Worshipful Brother Ken tonight. He had a stated communication at his lodge in Harmony Lodge. So
yep,
he's out. So with that, even though this is episode 150, we're going to postpone any celebrations till Sunday when he's back.
We could celebrate that Ken's not here.
We could celebrate. Hey, Ken's not here. No wonder why it's so dark.
Gruesome twosome.
It's so dark. I thought it was getting darker earlier. It's just that Ken's not here.
And before we started recording, I told you I am wearing my Game of Thrones shirt that says, I drink and I know things.
And that's the little guy.
That's the little guy who says it. Yep. So I gave you a freebie
it's
on
true.
that one.
It's true. I'm wearing my Goose and Gridiron Tavern shirt that one Danny Collins got us way back.
I think that might even be the Winding Stairs. What's the company? It's
I don't know.
Company.
I don't know. I tore the label out.
Anyway.
But I know Danny Collins purchased it. Oh, wait. What's it say here? Yep. Juan Sepulveda, thewindingstairs.com.
There you go.
If they want to sponsor us. They too can.
Or fight us.
Well, that, or they could become patrons on Patreon for as little as $3 a month.
How funny would that be, though, to have like a podcast rumble, right? I'm picturing like WWE, right? I'm picturing like King of the Ring, right? Where they all come running in. Yeah. It's just chaos.
It's just pure chaos.
Pure chaos. Yeah, that's something.
Either that or it's going to be like Cobra Kai versus Miyagi-Do.
Right. Before we get started, this episode is number 150, and we're going to be talking about the one-day festivals of Freemason degrees, which is just a brief synopsis. It's where you show up on a weekend or a single day, whatever it is, and it's usually they do all 3 degrees in one shot. Multiple people go through the degrees at a time. Sometimes, on rare occasions, it's done by, one person. It's performed for, and it's usually for
there's an exemplar that goes through while the others, if it's a large group, the others will sit on the sidelines and kind of watch the degree.
Well, I was thinking the one day festival for like the guy who's going off to Afghanistan.
Oh yeah,
like that. But we're going to get into that momentarily. But I do have something to point out per our last conversation that we talked about in regards to myself being a 3%er and how do I coincide the two.
Here we go.
So I do have a rebuttal, and it took me a little minute. I'm a little slow, so it took me a little moment to rebuttal, not rebuttal, but come up with
come with the counter.
And your argument is that if something was to happen, you have to peacefully submit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Peacefully submit.
So
to your government.
My argument to that is that there's also in the Masonic ritual where you will obey the laws of the land.
Correct.
Now, back in 99, 2000, I took an oath. And that oath was
going here.
To
support the Constitution, which is the supreme
defend
law of the land.
Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and it is the supreme law of the land. See where I got here now?
Yeah,
so, in my personal opinion, upholding that oath, which I took first, is not contradictory to Freemasonry, because Freemasonry says you must obey the law of the land.
I'd say that's a valid counter argument, a valid counterpoint. How about a counterpoint?
Counterpoint.
I think
It doesn't make it right.
Right.
I'm just saying, like,
it
I can
would
still
be-
get my card.
you can make a valid argument that
Mhm.
you're obeying the law of the land
And the oath that I took.
and right, because you took an oath to defend the supreme law of the land.
Hashtag oath keepers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Joe.
No, I can. Okay, I'll give you that counter argument. That's valid.
Oh, Joe, you lost the left. A little inside joke between me and Joe. We were talking about the debates earlier. I'm not getting political, but we both had a good laugh at the dramatics of the evening. So
and we won't get into specifics of it. We could talk after we shut everything down. But I made you a promise today, and I fulfilled that promise and listened to what you wanted me to listen to. The whole thing. I got through the whole thing. So we can talk about that afterwards. But
Bongino.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about the other one?
No, I hadn't gotten to that.
All right.
I hadn't got to
You'll
that.
laugh your ass off.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so let's get into festive one-day degrees. We pretty much already give you a synopsis.
Yeah.
So I guess for me,
so let me just give a little background before
go
we
ahead.
jump in.
Please.
This all started yesterday. Member of the Freemason podcast community, Brandon Sanders. Not sure off the top of my head if he's a brother or not.
I think so.
I'm assuming he is because he referenced us as brothers. So he just posed the question on the community page, brothers, what are your thoughts on one-day conferrals? And I was the first person to respond. And again, before I make any comments, and I made sure I put this, I'll actually read to you what I put on Facebook. I am adamantly opposed to them. So that's number one. Then that's just my personal opinion and does not necessarily reflect the opinions or views of the Freemasons podcast, the Grand Lodge of Connecticut, Ancient Free and Accepted Masons, or any other lodge jurisdiction or grand jurisdiction. That's my disclaimer.
Wait. So you were looking down at your phone as you said that. So I'm sure Raph already sent the disclaimer because he's Mr. Disclaimer. So
I don't know if he did or not, but I want to make sure it was attached to my comment immediately.
All of our comments pretty much adhere to that. So. But go ahead.
I just wanted a reminder in case somebody was looking. And, and I told the brothers that commented that I'd be reading some of these on air tonight. And initially, it came in as pretty heavily against them.
Yes.
Started with brother Peter Daigle. Don't like him personally. Most Masons spend a lot of time learning the lessons. One-day conferrals mitigate the work that they do and lessens the importance of them. Again, just my opinion. Brandon Sanders agreed with him. I also added a point that I agreed with Peter because there's a bond that one builds over time when you have to go to the senior members of the lodge to help learn your ritual, and you find out these things that occurs over a time. There's a bond that's formed. Devaney weighed in, and he did not violate rule number 1.
Wow.
He's been pretty on the straight and narrow lately. I give him credit. He has not violated rule number 1 in quite some time. Totally against it for many reasons. To me, for him, the degrees of masonry are very personal and they're earned, not to mention the understanding and comprehending everything. It's a lot to sit there and try to absorb everything from 1 degree, let alone 3 in 1 day or even 3 in 2 days.
Right.
Again, he throws in his views and opinions are solely his own and may not represent. Everybody had to throw a disclaimer in. Then Worshipful Brother Ken, even though he's not here, he 100% agreed unless there are compelling circumstances to justify them, and there are a few. He tells folks to shy away from degree festivals for exactly the reasons these good brothers indicated prior. So then I added in, doing one before somebody's going off to war would be an exception in my book. If somebody's going off to fight overseas and you want to make sure they get through their degrees so that they receive the benefits of a Masonic funeral or can attend a military lodge while he's deployed. I think those are great reasons to do it.
He also wrote Toasting Without Me with Lead Slingers, ?
Who wrote that, Ken? No, he could have been here.
Yes, he could have. I told him to bring down Harmony Lodge. He said they got business to attend to. So do we. Drinking Lead Slingers.
Don't worry. We both, it wasn't a mess up. It actually worked out in our benefit. You and I had this same idea tonight, and while you were out buying a bottle of Lead Slingers, I was out buying a bottle of Lead Slingers. So we now have 2 bottles of Lead Slingers.
Yes, we do.
Perhaps we'll save mine for if we have certain guests come up. But then Anthony Turner weighed in, agreed with us outside of very few rare circumstances. So that's kind of the wave that it was going. Lee Musikoff chimed in, and he mentioned the service member who's deploying as well. So that seemed to be Greg Schultz, not a fan of one-day conferrals. It's not personal enough to the candidates. It's just a way for lodges to create a quick infusion of cash with dues-paying brothers. See, Matt Crow added in his lodge, you've got to attend 12 meetings before you can become a Master Mason. So they actually put a number on the number of meetings you have to attend. Bill Powell, not a fan unless absolutely necessary. Again, reiterated the military piece. But then Rob Fowler comes in just to play devil's advocate. He did a C2A class here in Missouri. I'm not sure what a C2A, but he got an EA at a lodge meeting on a Thursday night. Then on Saturday, he went to class. Then there were 30 of them getting their fellow craft and then Master Mason. Did fellow craft in the morning. Master Mason was after lunch.
Right.
So he added his experience. So that was, he pretty much described what a festival looks like.
Right.
The following day, he became a Shriner. So he went from Thursday to Sunday, did EA Thursday, fellow craft Master Mason Saturday, Shriner Sunday. In that time, he has not missed a single Blue Lodge meeting and moved up to junior steward. So there's somebody that's done it and has stayed with the craft and has actually advanced through the rankings. So there was some discussion around that. And then somebody else, Levi Vinegar, again, not 100% sure if he's a brother or not, but he's on the community page. Mentioned a study that I was trying to get my hands on before this episode to actually provide some data, but I haven't. But once I do, I'll try to put it up on the page. But I know Ohio did a study, Freemasons in Ohio, or Ohio Grand Lodge, because our most worshipful Grandmaster mentioned it on a Zoom call that I was on, as well as the most recent Connecticut Freemasons newspaper that I know you subscribe to, and mentioned that there's a study done between one-day Masons and ones that went through the traditional way. How many NPD? How long do they stay? How engaged are they? And apparently that study found that there was no difference in NPDs or stay rate, whatever you want to call it, or success rate for the people that went through one-day festivals versus traditional way. So that was there's enough discussion and discussion on the Facebook page where I'm like, let's make it the topic for the day. When you call me this morning, so what do you want to talk about tonight? It kind of fell right into our lap.
Right. Jason Bokanowski, I think I said that right. He said,
wow, that's really good for you.
Pretty good. Probably pretty proud of myself. Give myself an attaboy for that one. He said hello, and I said hello, and he responded with, thank you, sir. Greetings from Plum Creek 799. So shout out to you in Plum Creek 799.
He should have replied back, is it me you're looking for?
Welcome. We're discussing one-day festivals.
So now that I spoke like a lot,
that's fine. It's okay. I talk a lot, and I usually screw up words, so it's fine. Go ahead.
What's your personal take on them, and then I'll give mine.
Plum, Pennsylvania. That's where he's from.
Plum, Pennsylvania. Okay.
Nice.
Wonder where that is exactly. If it's on my, if it's along I-80 somewhere, I could stop by and see it next trip to Ohio.
Their lodge will be closed.
But
Ginger's coming. Shut the door.
What day? It doesn't matter.
My take on it. It's going to go a lot differently than what others, I think, would think of. Most people are focusing on how many Masons can we get in the door and how many are going to stay and remain, blah, blah, blah. I take it from a different point of view, and mine is the initiatic experience. I am not opposed to a one-day festival for maybe somebody going overseas, military, dying of cancer or something like that, putting them through all the degrees just so they can enjoy that if it's a single person.
Right.
Or even up to 5. We'll go with 5. And the reason why I say that is because...
And when you say person, you mean the person actually going through the degree.
Actually going through. No exemplars.
Yep.
A big problem with exemplars. It's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the Scottish Rite. I know I'm going to get hate mail from the Scottish Rite about that, but I not all Scottish Rite degrees, but most of them are performed as a play. And I didn't get as much out of it. I mean, I did get something out of it. Let me be clear on that. I sound like I'm backpedaling here, but I did get something out of it, but not as much as I would say Master Mason degree, Knights Templar degree. Some aspects of chapter and council degrees were extremely powerful because they're very, very personal. When you have a one-day festival of 30, 40 people show up, okay, they all show up and you all sign in your name, you get your lunch ticket, pay your money for all your degrees because, of course, they got to get their money first. And they always pick one guy as an exemplar and they put the entire class on the side and you watch somebody else go through it. It doesn't do the same justice.
Right.
I've always said it since day one. What's this? Jason Bogdanowski. We're open. Stated is third Tuesday. The extra is Thursday and following Tuesday. Interesting.
All right. I'll have to check it out and see if it's on my travels.
Cool. Then I hope if there's Masons in the area who are listening to this podcast, go to
Plum, Pennsylvania. What was it? Plum Creek 799.
Yeah, go visit. But for me, it takes away the initiatic experience of sitting on the side and watching somebody. It's like, okay, it's for instance, I'll use a war. I'll use a war analogy. You're sitting your ass on the couch, right? You got a bag full of Cheez-Its, Cheetos, whatever you have, right? You're sitting there and you're watching the History Channel and you're watching them storm the beaches of Normandy, right? And you're like, wow, man, that must have been pretty intense. Now be the 18-year-old who was actually storming the beaches of Normandy. Like, oh, holy shit, it's a whole different story.
Well, even when you and I were discussing it this morning, I brought up the example where you, in your military training, they throw you in some room and put the mustard gas in there and make you take off your mask. And I believe you said you got nut tapped while you were in there because you were doing a really good job holding your breath.
Podcast?
I think you have.
I think I have too.
I think you have. But
I got bag tagged.
So,
and my stomach hurt worse than my lungs coming out of the gas chamber. So that sucked.
So now is that the same experience as me standing outside going, wow, that looks like it really sucks?
That's not what would happen. You'd be standing outside like Peter Griffin.
Yeah. You're right.
As I'm over here, like dry heaving my guts up.
What am I going to say? Yeah, I know what it's like. I saw it happen.
No. Even when I got my ass kicked off the rappel tower, screaming 40 feet to the ground. Yeah. Being at the bottom, watching my limber body land into the wood chips. Yeah, like, holy shit, that was pretty cool. But now be the person actually getting kicked off the rappel tower 40 feet in the air.
I believe cops, like when they're through their taser training, they get tased.
Yeah.
Like that scene from what you call it, Hangover. In the face. In the face.
No, but it's true though. So for me, it's not a matter of whether or not we can keep this brother or keep this person who was raised and all that stuff.
Right.
For me, it's actually, at least in my opinion, it diminishes the initiatic experience, which is, if done properly, is extremely powerful. And it's something you're never going to forget if done properly.
Yep.
So study your ritual, especially when you get back to lodge after all this COVID. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
You've had plenty of time to learn it.
I would say don't be that Messner, but Messner is actually really good at ritual.
Messner is actually really good at ritual when he slows down and you can understand what he's saying.
Oh, yeah, he's a speed demon.
Have you ever accidentally hit on your podcast, you accidentally hit the speed up to 1.5 from 1, and you're like, wow, this sounds weird. That's Messner doing degree work.
Yeah.
But he knows his crap. I'll give him that. He knows
I
his
swear to
crap.
God, I think he actually, before he comes to lodge, in order to prep for lodge, like I can see him in the bathroom in just like a tank, like a spaghetti stained tank top, and is just under like tighty whities and just slapping himself in the face and then just do a ripper of coke off the freaking thing and then comes into lodge.
He seems like
That's how his ritual goes. He's like,
he seems like a Joe Cola kind of guy, but yeah. That's the 2-liter bottle, but the same, like still in there with this white tank top with the stains and the tidy whities have stains too. Let's be honest. We're sitting there with the thing of Joe Cola, doesn't let it down. How did we get there?
I don't know.
We're talking about ritual work. This is what happens when Ken's not here.
Yeah, no,
He goes off the rails like that.
He's our grounding force.
He's our guiding light.
I mean, every once in a while we get eyeballs, but that's about it.
No, literally, he's our guiding light because he like glows. I said to you earlier, I thought it was because it was getting darker in here, getting darker earlier, but it's that Ken's not here. So
yeah, then we realized it was just a ballast that didn't take a light on.
Exactly.
But Anyway, back on
So back on festival.
Wow.
The initiatic experience. If done properly, you were saying it's
very
extremely
powerful.
And
Very.
absolutely.
And I think when you sit on the sideline and watch an exemplar go through it, hey, Brother Lee, when you go through it, rather than watching it, it's more meaningful to you. And I mean, that would even be the same. We'll even go as far as doing the degree work. You know, to watch a degree is great, but to actually be part of a degree
is even better.
It's even better. Especially number 3. Dum dum dum.
Which you have one coming up, and we have one coming up in Morningstar in November. I believe.
And guess who's number 3?
Are you number 3?
Boom.
Nice.
Who's number 2? I'm just going to walk in. All you're going to hear is POD. Boom! Here comes the boom.
But no, that'll be. But there is something.
Ready or not, here comes the midget from the south. Boom! Here comes the boom.
From south of the South Valley. You know what though? But there's a specific part in that degree where things are happening and you're blindfolded and you don't know what's going on.
Right.
And that's part of the experience.
Absolutely.
That's part of the building trust. It's and I can't go into too many specifics.
Yeah, we can't get. I think we're pretty much here. Yeah. I'm thinking of like the 3rd degree.
Yeah.
You know, is there a specific part that if you're sitting on the side, you're not blindfolded, you're obviously watching the degree, doesn't mean as much.
Right. Right.
Again, we don't want to get too specific without giving away the 3rd degree, but it's powerful.
Plus, like, and you know,
and
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm thinking of a way to word it that it's very in your face. It's very.
Yeah. It's aggressive.
And it's aggressive in a good way. Let's be clear.
There's a shock value to it.
There's a shock value to it, and I don't think you get that same shock and awe value as you would if you were sitting on the side.
No, there's no way you possibly.
No, you can't. And I mean, we've done festivals for chapter and council as well. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Before we move on to that. No. Before we move on to that, go ahead.
I was going to say it's no secret that I've talked about it multiple times how I really enjoy delivering the middle chamber and the fellowcraft degree. And when I did it here just a few months ago, we had Brother Savvy that went through it. Mm-hmm. We had Brother Alex, mm-hmm. and there was a brother from Shepherd Salem. I don't remember his name, but we had 3 go through. Mm. But part of that middle chamber, and what I enjoy about that, it's me one-on-one with the candidates. I'm giving this lecture, looking them in the eye, having this conversation, having this dialogue.
I'm sorry. I had to use my lighter. I had to burn it a little.
I was going to say, I think it's a match that you need to light when you fart, not a lighter. I don't. No.
I'm sorry. The clicking was my Zippo. I had a one straggler, I guess,
from the screen.
From the screen,
like
that was
thread.
It was like mid vision of my face, so it was freaking me out.
But that bond that you gain with your brothers, like even me delivering that to them, created an instant bond.
Right.
That if somebody else watching it on the sideline, they might appreciate it. They might say, "Oh, wow, that was really cool." It's not the same as me looking you in the eye,
absolutely,
and delivering that to you and creating that connection.
Right. Real quick, Daniel Morris. He says, "I've always wanted to attend these, I guess, non-traditional degrees." Maybe you could be more clear about what you mean by that.
I'm thinking he's saying he wants to attend the festivals versus the traditional.
Okay.
That's how I'm reading it. If that's not what you mean, Danny, please.
If you're going to attend a degree that you're going to watch, I recommend the Scottish White.
Is that Sean Connery?
That's the tongue. The Scottish Rite degrees. Oh, he says, like I have seen Indian degrees and such.
Yeah. There was one that was supposed to be out east this year, and they had to cancel due to COVID. I've wanted to see that for a very long time.
You talking about Scottish Rite degree?
No, it's an actual. There are brothers that are
going to go to Delaware.
Native Americans from Nebraska or somewhere, Oklahoma, maybe somewhere out there that actually put on a Native American themed. And I hear it's amazing with the drums, everything. Love to see that.
I mean, Ken does one. He does the Civil War.
He does Civil War.
Your lodge does farm.
Again,
I've said there's
Scottish Rite does colonial degrees.
The lodge up in Moosup, Connecticut does the quarry.
Yeah, I've been to that one. That's really cool, and an actual quarry.
Yep. The non-traditional degrees give it a certain flavor to it. And it's even more impressive to the person who's going through it,
Right.
because they're like, yeah, my degree was XYZ.
Right.
You didn't have the traditional one. I wanted to check the Civil War degree in PA while I was working close to there. Yeah, I don't know where you're from, brother, but I know Ken's Lodge up in Harmony 42 in Waterbury, Connecticut does a Civil War degree, and they do it all in full regalia, and everything. But we'll move on. Let's move on to like York Rite. So I recommended that if you like that particular, I don't want to say festival degree, or even that particular where you want to sit and watch it as a play,
Right.
I highly recommend the Scottish Rite degrees because they're very powerful and life lessonish, if you could say.
Yeah, and definitely. It's a morality play.
It's a morality play, and they're really good. If you like that whole, I don't feel like walking around a room 57 times, and I kind of just want to sit on my ass and watch what happens, I highly recommend the Scottish Rite. Sometimes, yes, you're going to get pulled as an exemplar.
See, I lucked out because worshipful brother Bob First and illustrious brother Jack Fark, who we had up to talk about the 33rd degree, pulled me as an exemplar in quite a few.
Right.
Especially the 18th degree, the Rose Croix degree, which was pretty powerful degree. It was quite nice to be the exemplar in those. Yeah. So I got spoiled a little bit on that.
So York Rite is also known for doing its festivals. They've done it with Connecticut. I think I don't remember the last time Connecticut did it.
I remember one when I was a fairly new Mason. So we're probably talking 2010, 2011, where I know a bunch of people that went through and did their. Was it Knights St. John's, Knights Malta, and then Knight Templar? Is that the three?
That's for Commandery.
Yeah. So they did all three of those in one day,
really?
I remember.
I took all of my degrees all the way to the York Rite one by one, which, truth be told, it's kind of a pleasure and a pain at the same time because all of my degrees of York Rite took the
that's bug. We're trying to get it.
It's driving me insane. All of my York Rite degrees took the better part of a year to complete. So for somebody who wants it,
and that's all. That's the cryptic degrees.
That's
Royal
chapter,
Arch.
council, and commandery.
Yeah. So you could tell. However, I've never done York Rite because I watch.
I will say
the terminology.
I'll be honest. I didn't really enjoy all of the degrees of York Rite, but there were a few that stuck out to me. Let's see here. Jason Bokanowski. I witnessed in a police office entered retired PA state trooper brethren did it in degree. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we used to have a police degree.
We still do it.
I haven't seen it in a while. I know most worshipful brother Marshall Robinson was in the East. I think Shane was a part of that.
We also had the Caledonians too. They did it all in Scottish.
Really?
Nope. That was also that. I don't know if it's been done in a long time, but I know Marshall Robinson also, most worshipful Grandmaster, past Grandmaster, Marshall Robinson also headed that up as well. That's really cool. At one point, there was a Knights Templar Master Mason degree team. That was cool.
I know.
If by the grace of God, in the next couple of years, I become Right Eminent Grand Commander of the Grand Commander of the State of Connecticut, I want to bring that back.
And you got a Banish Master.
Gone. It's already done.
We'll have nothing to talk about. No, but
I'll just pull him in my office and be like,
"You're fired.
You're fired. Get out." That's screwed up. Love you, Master.
But we had
you're still fired.
York Rite College come and do a Master Mason degree down at Ashlar Aspetuck one year with most worshipful past Grandmaster George Graytech in the East, which is very powerful. And those degrees, I think, are great. But it's, again, imagine the power of even these larger degrees or these themed degrees with 20, 30 people going through.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not.
And honestly, it ruins the experience because, again, the York Rite, there's 2 degrees in the York Rite. And I'm not talking about Commander. Well, I've already talked the Order of the Temple to death. I already told you that's the best degree I've ever seen, or I call it an order when you get to that point. That one just blew my mind. That was the creme de la creme of all degrees in Masonry. But we all have favorites, right? So there's 2 of them in York Rite that really stuck out to me. One of them, and I don't want to get into specifics, but you were conducted. I'm going to talk about a degree. I'm not going to say what degree it is, because I don't want to take it away from somebody going through the line. There's a part where you're being conducted talking to Hiram, and he's explaining about things, and he stops and he goes, "When I die, they will bury me here." And that just grabbed me like, wow.
Yeah.
Just in the guy who did that particular part of the degree, it was like he did it with such like passion and not going to say enthusiasm. It was one of those things where he looked you dead in the eye and he said that line and he stamped on the floor,
Yeah.
and he said that line and you're like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I don't think, for me, if you're doing a festival, the guy on the sideline,
that same
you're not getting that eye contact. You're not getting that personal pizzazz, I guess, to it.
Well, yeah. Even in my Master Mason degree, worshipful brother John Deere, who we had come up or
Not the
call into us, not the tractor, called in last October when we were doing some pride stuff and Masons that were openly gay. He was in the East for my Master Mason degree, and there's a point in that degree where the master looks you in the eye and kind of scoffs at you for your belief that you're a Master Mason, and says something to the extent of, "I don't even know if you're ever going to become one." And you're thinking to yourself, "What do you mean?
Yeah. What the hell?
I've been going through all this."
Jason Bokanowski, he says, brother Jason Bokanowski says, quick question. Who answers Facebook Messenger, since I know right where Brother George got banned? I don't even know that, to be honest with you. I think Rafferty is the one who
he usually does
does.
the messenger stuff. If it's on the page, it could be any of us that have admin access.
I think all yous do.
Yeah.
I think everybody can. You and
so sometimes it's whoever gets there first.
It's whoever gets there first. And if you get a short and sweet answer that seems very brash, that's Rafferty. Yeah. But understand, he's not a douche.
No, he's just a busy guy.
Douche,
no. A douche, yes. You
douche, no.
A douche, yeah.
He's not a douche. He's also a driver like me. So when he usually gets the messages, he's short and sweet. Right. And when he usually gets a chance to sit down and go back through, if he does, he'll respond more in depth. But it's also Rafferty, though.
Right. It's just Rafferty.
Rafferty.
He's a teddy bear, but a teddy bear that'll be a grizzly bear that'll rip your throat out.
I would have to go teddy bear / Sasquatch.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Because Sasquatch really just
he's like the
howls from the woods.
He's like that bear that you buy at the grocery store. He's a bear, but he's filled with honey. So he's sweet, but he's still a bear. That's
and he's still plastic. So if it gets thrown at you, it still hurts. So
but real quick, worshipful brother Joe Schultz could not comment on, I think that's who it was. Yes, that's who I have it in my phone as, but I think I switched their contacts at one point because I sent Joe Schultz's pin to Greg Schultz and he wouldn't give it to him. But one of the Schultzes, I believe it's worshipful brother Joe Schultz, says he can't comment on YouTube, but he brings up a valid point when we're talking. Why can't he
comment on YouTube?
I don't know, maybe he got banned too. He brought up when we were talking about exceptions to the festivals and that type thing. He brought up a really good point. He said, because there is a part in our degree work and ritual work that says that you shall not make certain people, Mason, Old Man and Dotage, and I won't expand past that, but brothers listening know what I'm talking about. So he's saying if you have somebody who's like really sick and on like their deathbed, instead of rushing them through a festival, you can probably a better call to make for the Grandmaster and make them a Mason on site, which can be done, and not put them through all that. So
you know who was made a Mason on site?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Really?
Yeah.
I was gonna go with Douglas MacArthur, but
yes, he was as well. And there was somebody else too, somebody else famous. But
what the hell did I just do?
So good point there. So that's one less set.
Yeah. If anybody's having problems, who watches on YouTube, again,
oh, they on us now too?
I don't know, but there's been a couple of people who've been like, "Hey, I don't get notifications when you go live, and it doesn't allow me to chat or write in the chat, the live chat."
You gotta smash that subscribe button, smash that like button.
Is that how you do it?
I believe if you are not subscribed to it,
Like us too. Like
yeah.
the Facebook, like our Facebook. No, the hell with Facebook. Ban me, the bastards.
Okay, and you may need to turn on notifications. But I know
Yeah.
I have them, and I get notified when they come on.
Yeah, if you could
So it's a
subscribe,
settings issue. Yeah,
like
please
our
subscribe.
videos,
Yeah, give us the thumbs up.
comment. We appreciate it because it helps us out big time, especially being that we basically nuked Facebook Live and came over here to YouTube because, well, the hell with Facebook.
Yeah, and eventually it'll be to hell with YouTube too.
I don't know. We'll figure out
We'll
something.
have to start our
There's also Rumble.
Ken will start his own platform from some Russian bot.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
Poor Ken.
Ken. Surprised he didn't get his freaking Chinese Communist Party freaking emails, the Nazi bastard.
You know what we need to do next time? And I'm just thinking of this now.
What?
Remember when Alex Jones crashed Bohemian Grove?
Yes.
And he tried to get in. Next time Ken misses because he has a stated, we should just go mobile and do the podcast of us crashing. We'll just stand outside and heckle them. We won't go into the room, but although it's Waterbury, we don't want to stand outside.
Yeah, no.
I take that back.
No Waterbury. No.
We'll wait for them to meet during the day.
You pull that shit in Seymour, you're probably
Yeah.
fine. You pull that shit in Waterbury?
Yeah, no, never mind. But it was a good idea, and
Sounded good.
in theory, it's a good idea.
So did Charles Island.
Yes. Well, yeah. It's funny how we have these grand ideas.
We
and
have
then
these
they
grandiose ideas.
then things just, yeah.
We also have I know we've been saying it for a while, but we're actually going to make a video, and we're putting Ken to work. We're going to make a video of, and I think what did we title it? Basically, how to be Masonic.
Yes.
We're just going to put us in bad situations, but still have to remain Masonic.
Yeah. So it's you're gonna see the internal struggle of the daily life of being a Mason, where
Yes.
something happens, i.e., somebody, I don't know, cuts you off on the highway when you're doing like 65, and that's not fast enough for them, and they almost put you into the rail. And what you want to say, but then you remember that mirror that's in some lodges that says, "Remember, this is somebody's opinion of a Mason," and you end up not saying the things that you want, and you got to clean it up a little bit.
You got to be nice.
Got to be nice. You got to play nice. You got to peaceably submit.
I actually look forward to getting back on our stupid videos that we'd make.
We have to make some more stupid.
We got to
videos.
do.
We got to do more
videos. That's
commercials.
the fun of it.
What was the last
We've
commercial?
been talking about people getting thrown in HR every 5 minutes, and that hasn't happened.
right?
Although we've been relatively tame.
Relatively. 'Cause we haven't done after hours, and
We haven't done after hours in forever. We got to do that again. We also have to get back into our videos. I mean,
George has been on hiatus, other than a brief visit last episode.
Real Brothers of Genius.
Right?
We got to get back on the horse, man.
What did we have? The COVID paper filler out guy.
Yeah.
we got to work on that one.
The Lodge COVID Protection
Yeah,
Officer or something like
something
that.
like that.
And you know what we'll do is too? I'll actually get some cardboard and we'll make like a paper apron. But we'll put the circle with the cross through it, like the no.
Yeah, like the no smoking,
No smoking, yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
And we'll put that on his apron. And his jewel will just be like the bottom of a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I like doing dumb shit.
We're really good at it.
We are good. You know what though? I mean, I enjoy doing dumb shit like this because it shows people that Masons are not what you think we are.
Right. We're not
Just-
some stodgy old people. That
Stodgy.
unless when it comes to should we do festival degrees, then we all become those grumpy past masters. Like, no, that's not the way we do it. We didn't do it that way in my year. Rah, 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 rah.
So you said we're not those stodgy old guys, and I had my opportunity.
Go ahead, take the shot.
No,
Take the shot.
I had the shot, and I didn't. I didn't take it, and I broke a major rule of engagement.
You did take the shot.
But then again, I mean, I'm only. It's much more fun actually having somebody up here, and I didn't want you to leave because Ken's not here. So. But
I
anyway,
won't leave. I won't leave. You can't get rid of me that easily. No, but like we're back on this festival thing. I will admit openly, in full disclosure, I've never attended one of these. So perhaps I know there is discussion of there possibly being one in Connecticut fairly soon. So I'd be interested to attend it to see if it changes my mind at all. Because you know me, I'm relatively open minded, unlike you.
I'm open-minded.
No, stop it.
What are you talking about? I'm open-minded.
Okay.
I'm open-minded to protest that there should be.
I knew there was something coming. That's why I didn't let it drop. But no, I'd like to see it, but I just don't. I don't see how you could possibly replicate the experience and the connection and the bond that you get from doing it. The
This is how maniacal I'm thinking of, though. Like now I'm thinking of another video that we can do of just me and you in the back row just going, boo! Throwing popcorn.
We could be like the two old
This
guys from the
sucks. One
Muppets.
guy's got the 3D glasses on, like the old school ones.
Yeah.
Not like the new movie theater. It's like
No, the red and blue ones.
red and blue legs
Yeah.
in the back. We'll put Ken
Popcorn.
with like we'll take one of the popcorn buckets, put it on Ken's head, and cut out the eyes like in Gremlins, right? Just all of us in the back.
Yeah.
Boo! That sucks.
Yeah, we'll be like the who is it, Waldorf and Statler from the Muppets, the two old guys in the balcony. Just that's not how you do it. That's not it.
That'd be hilarious.
I don't think our most worshipful Grandmaster Stephen W. Petrie would appreciate that. So we're joking. It's all satire.
Yeah, no, it's all satire. It would never happen.
Parody.
But I said make a movie. I didn't say actually show up and do it. Like, wait, that's where you thought I was going with that?
Yeah.
No, God, no. I'm dumb, not stupid. Got another eye roll.
You got another what? Oh, eye roll. Well, at least that's all we're getting. I got called in that one time.
You know,
I got a formal reprimand
former reprimand. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you did.
from the Santa episode. Which, by the way, Christmas is coming.
Yes, it
We may
is.
see the return of Santa.
God. God, I hope not.
What do you mean?
Where did all these fruit flies come from? Just everywhere.
Rocco must have been up there.
He must have been. He's like Oscar.
Yeah.
Sesame Street. Just pops out of a garbage can and goes, hey guys.
But he's
Just
the
watching
opposite
up.
of Groucho.
Hey Rocco.
Hey, brother Rocco.
He's on here. I don't know if he's still on here, but he was on here.
I
so
hope
just like breaking your balls.
if he's on here, I hope you're enjoying that book that I gave you.
I love Lead Slingers, by the way. I think it's my favorite whiskey.
It's good.
Yep.
It's my good. It's a really good, just straight up whiskey.
Yep.
So
I hate these fruit flies.
I know.
Anyway,
We have to put something. We'll have to put like the tacky tape up or whatever. We'll get them.
yeah.
We'll get them.
What was I going to say though? Getting back to one thing I want to talk about. We were making jokes, and again, we had this conversation on the phone while I was driving, and literally, I did get cut off today. And again, first off, I'm not that I was driving my own personal vehicle. I was at work, and I got cut off, so I obviously have to behave myself because I'm working, and I have my company's name tattooed on the side of the truck.
How am I driving? Call 1-800.
1-800, you're fired.
1-800.
So-
Don't care.
So yeah, no, it was but I think about it like in terms of like people who are driving. I mean, you should, as a Mason, in a sense, kind of keep chill, I guess you could say, because I mean, you are a Mason.
Yeah.
It's part of what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's even worse if you have the entire back windows covered in
The company that you work.
no, every single Masonic emblem you
that
can
one
possibly
too, yeah.
have, and then have a Masonic license plate.
Which you're gonna need. You got a new car. You're gonna need to buy a
Yeah.
whole new set of those. Huh?
Yes, I am. Yes. Poor Black Betty. She died.
Yeah.
Now I got the Silver Stallion.
You're like a silver fox now. You're getting a little older. So you're like a silver fox.
Yeah, so I think about that in terms like that. You don't want to be driving around with a bunch of freaking Masonic stickers in the back of your car or
No.
license plates and, losing your shit
Right.
on somebody because, it is a reflection. So I just think it would be, me and Joe were talking, I think it would be funny to just do a little video that
Portray the internal struggle that
patrol
happens
the
sometimes.
yes,
Like you.
you wonderful guy, you gotta step on your brakes, but like bright red in the face.
I'm gonna whisper good counsel to you. This is a whisper.
Like there is times though,
Yeah.
there's times where our metal is tested.
We're rough ashlers. We're not perfect beings.
I actually had one the other day. We don't have to get into specifics, but I was on full tilt, I guess you can say.
I'm trying to remember the last time I really lost it. Like really lost it. It's probably been over a year. So
Yeah.
it's like it, when I lose it, it's not pretty.
Mm,
It is not pretty.
yeah, I'm the same way.
It's been a long time. I've been able to subdue that passion, thankfully,
Mm.
thanks to the tenets of Freemasonry that I learned over the course of several years. Not a one-day festival.
I like what you did there.
Yeah, you like
You know, I'm willing to say if the Grand Lodge of the state of Connecticut wants to do it, let's try it.
I'll support it.
I'll support it.
Let's see it.
You know,
Let's see what it looks like. And
Because there are some people out there with different opinion than mine, and again, my opinion doesn't necessarily mean it's right. It's something I'm working on as a Mason.
right.
But but no, honestly, if some people enjoy it, so there's some people I've talked to, like, yeah, I took a festival, I loved it, got it all banged out in one day, was able to attend lodge, and it was great, I loved it.
Mhm.
So you know, to each their own. So I don't think it's an avenue of that we should not explore, I guess, or Mason shouldn't explore.
It's worth looking into.
It's worth looking into, especially if you're pressed for time.
Right.
You know, I know a lot of people work, you know, especially with all this COVID crap going on. You know, time is of the essence, and it's, you know, not that you can do a one-day festival with
Right.
COVID now, but
I just question the meeting suitable proficiency before proceeding to the next degree. How do you're kind of loosening that requirement
right.
or redefining it at the very least, which I don't know. Some could argue that it's a innovation on Freemasonry. Dun, dun, dun. Well, I didn't say I would argue it. I'm saying some could argue it.
All right.
Couldn't somebody make that argument?
Like watching the fruit flies turn into bees. And
No, I'm just, and I'm just.
Did you kick the hive? Or?
No, I mean,
No, I'm
like
joking,
somebody
joking.
could argue that if somebody want to play devil's advocate,
Right.
they could say you're loosening the requirements. Isn't that a innovation on Freemasonry?
Yeah, I guess so.
There could be multiple reasons why it's not, but somebody
Mhm.
could pose that question. Just saying. I know
No,
it's been done before, so
Yeah.
it's not something new, but
I see, the way I look at it is Freemasonry is a very, very old craft. It's been around for a very, very long time. And I think of like 1700s.
at
Yeah.
least.
No, 1700s, but let's go with like the year 1775, 1776. Do you think Benjamin Franklin would be okay with a
Festival?
one-day festival?
I'm thinking no.
I'm thinking no. Part of Freemasonry is its history,
Maybe Franklin
and
isn't the best example. He did some weird stuff.
Washington.
Yeah, I
You
know.
can go as far.
No, I know. I'm just being funny. Franklin is my favorite Mason.
No, but I'm seriously wondering that, like, would our ancient brethren, and I say ancient because, you know, it's not really ancient, but, you know, our colonial, if you will, brethren, I wonder if they would approve of it. And I mean, Freemasonry draws its what's the word I'm looking for? It's like draws their not ritual, traditions. Thank you. From history. You know, we revere our history and the
Mhm.
things that have happened, and Freemasonry has been a part of. And I always refer back to be like, is this something that when the founders of Freemasonry and or the ones who from 1770 whatever,
Right.
would they approve of this? I mean, I think
I'd
Franklin
think no.
would be quite okay with all the technological advances in
Absolutely, he
Freemasonry.
would,
He'd be
yeah.
absolutely, because he was. I mean,
He was
he
that
got his
guy
ass
at
struck
the
by
time.
lightning. I mean,
Right. Right. With his little kite.
It's not how it went.
Woody
but
Woodpecker was there.
It was
too.
a key.
But here's another analogy for you. So you and I discussed one analogy this morning. But before I get to that one, because you'll probably have a lot to say on that. The Freemasonry is based on the Stonemasons Guild.
Mhm.
So a union of sorts.
Mhm.
Could a union electrician
I see
attend a
where you're going with
one-day
this.
festival and be an apprentice, a journeyman, and become a master electrician
I see where you're going
in
with
one
this.
day?
Mhm. It was a progression of knowledge. It even says it in one of our degrees.
Right.
As you advance in knowledge, how do you advance in knowledge in one day?
Right. You can make some strides, but and there are some brothers, like there's a brother down in Temple 65. I always want to call him Ben Parker because that's Peter Parker's uncle's name. Ben Porter, I think his name might be. Really young kid, photographic memory.
Right.
He could see something once and it's ingrained.
Right.
Not everybody's like that.
Right.
and he's phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, and he's a young guy too, like really young. He's probably 21. He could be one of those 19, 20-year-old guys too, but he's fantastic.
I'll bring it back to the military.
Well, what do we talk about with the?
Well, I'm thinking Marine Corps boot camp is 12 weeks.
Yeah,
you learn a lot.
Yeah. I'm gonna go the extended weekend edition.
It's right though. You think you're gonna be able to absorb all that shit in one weekend? Probably not. And there's a lot to absorb.
There's a lot, and even you and I talked today.
And it's not a matter of. And see, this is, and again, we're talking about opinions here. This is solely my opinion. I want to be clear.
Oh yeah, this is just a dialogue.
I take festivals, one-day festivals, as a way to shove Masons in the door. Excuse me, shove Masons through the door to start filling seats.
If we only could make money and monetize that. Oh wait, we do.
Yeah, exactly. It's a way to get money, and this is my opinion. Again, I know I'm going to get chastised for this, but whatever. It's not the first time, won't be the last. It's a way. Oh, there goes the left.
Oh, there goes the purple. You lost. You can say to me, I'm making these comments. Oh, there goes the purple. You lost the purple. That would be. That's a great little vignette too.
Yeah.
We're debating something. Oh, there goes the purple. You lost the purple.
Anyway, no, but honest to God, I'm probably going to get chastised for this, but I will say the one-day festival for me is a way to get men into Masons in the door in one shot to fill lodge chairs, and two, collect money right on the spot.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking about my opinion here. You are diminishing their initiatic experience to gain. It's what is it? Lowest effort, maximum profit. Is that how the saying goes? Right? Least amount of effort, maximum amount of profit. That's how I feel if a one-day festival is. You're putting all your eggs in one basket into one day, so you can wash your hands of it. You've gained your money. You've gained everything you've wanted, and you're like, all right, go be a Mason though. What?
That's why I really want to see the study that was done, and really does it compel me to think differently? I'm really curious to see what's in that study, and
I wonder if Ken would have had a different opinion.
Based on what I saw in his comments yesterday, no, he was pretty much in line with us.
Yeah, I'm
might not have taken the shots that we took, but I think he is, generally speaking, I don't want to speak for him, but generally his opinion is similar to ours.
I think that's going to be probably one of our newest. I think it's going to be one of our catchphrases for a little while at least.
What would Ken do?
Oh, there goes the purple.
Oh, there goes the purple. I thought you were going to say we should make 3 WKD bracelets when he's not here, so we could keep ourselves within due bounds. But even
why is it though? Let me ask.
Yeah.
When Ken's not here, why is it you and I always end up getting off the rails on shit? I think the last time it was just you and me.
It
we are really bad with feeding off of one another.
Well, the first time I was here after we did the after hours, it was just you and me. That wasn't off the rails. That was in the trees, down the embankment, and in the water. I think
that was
a good one. That was a good one.
It was a lot of fun. It's funny as hell.
We'll leave it at that.
I think it's still up, or did I pull them all down?
Not sure. I think back. That one.
The after hours. I don't know if they're still on Apple iTunes. I don't know. If not, I may have just put him on Patreon for the after hours, but I could be wrong.
That's probably a good idea.
I think that's what I did. Yeah. I can't be 100% sure though. But
even another analogy you and I spoke about today, because I'm not a military guy, but my father was in the Army during Vietnam, so I have a basic knowledge of it. But I know that when you graduate West Point, you come out as second lieutenant.
Yep.
So you're an officer, where your experience has been in school, in essence, in college. It's right. War college. Versus, so take a second lieutenant, whether it be the Army or Marines or any of the branches, and put his knowledge and experience.
Force. I like Space Force.
Okay, we'll go Space Force.
Okay.
So second lieutenant, right out of the academy,
in Space Force.
In Space Force, versus a non-commissioned rank, and your most senior non-commissioned rank of sergeant major. You're in a foxhole.
Right.
Who's got more experience? Or you even went staff sergeant, and there was another rank you mentioned.
Yeah, staff sergeant or gunnery sergeants. They're usually.
But it's not like the level of experience is vast, even though technically that second lieutenant outranks that.
He's supposed to have more experience if he's running the show or running.
But does he have more practical experience? Has
Not-
he practiced the craft of being in command? Not really.
Right.
Not as much as your senior enlisted position that's been there for that's a pretty high pay grade. I'm sure on a sergeant major.
Yes.
But like there's a definite difference in experience level there that you only get through time.
Right.
Experience can only be obtained through time. So you could argue that one superior, or even if you tried to argue at the same level of education, there's an experience factor that's extremely valuable there.
Well, I mean, I will compare that to, I would have to say, a grandmaster and coming and doing your degrees. Okay. 1 degree, sure. I think that's freaking awesome to come back and be able to say my grandmaster did all of my degrees or did my degree.
Right.
It's great. But at some point, and I particularly would have to say this with the Master Mason degree, to have your own lodge, your own brothers, portray that degree. I'm trying to line
we'll
here.
We'll go portray. Yeah. Deliver
Deliver that degree.
It's more of a delivery. Let's be honest. There's some things being delivered in that.
Yeah, and then it's more personal because it's somebody you're going to see every single time you go to lodge and say, hey, that's the guy. Yeah. That's my brother who did this for me. Whereas the Grandmaster, yeah, it's cool. He's Grandmaster for a year, sometimes 2, and then gone.
Right. You're probably not
going to see him again.
You're probably not going to sit with him in lodge multiple times over the next 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
You may occasionally at a table lodge or
hey, Grandmaster. And here's the shit part of the whole thing. That Grandmaster probably ain't going to remember you because he has raised or portrayed so many degrees for so many Masons.
Mm-hmm.
You're just another Mason to him.
Funny, they all seem to remember us, though.
Well, they remember us. I'm like, oh, hey, Grandmaster.
Oh,
hey.
Oh, you're that podcast guy.
You're that podcast guy. You're that guy.
I kid.
No. I joke. I kid.
But what do you think?
Yeah,
I think we beat this one. I think we had a good discussion. Thanks for
thank you for tuning in.
Community page members for having a good discussion on this yesterday and giving us the idea to bring it to the podcast.
Something is Sunday.
Sunday.
Something esoteric.
Okay.
Let's go deep diving. We'll come up with something.
Okay.
But I want to dive into a couple things. One thing I want to dive into is the numerology and the repeating numbers of Freemasonry, particularly the ones found in the second lectures of some degrees.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that'd be a lot of fun to actually break down the numerology of stuff. I think that's pretty cool because not very many people pay attention to that. So anyway, let's shut it down.
All right.
For the Freemasons podcast, I am Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry signing off.
Worshipful Brother Joe signing off.
And Worshipful Brother Ken bitched out. So have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Still live on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. Everybody tuned in. Thanks for the participation. Again, subscribe and like.
Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button.
I think we're going to finish
help us out.
Mashing down.
Oh, and before, I did a little bit of a cheap plug at the beginning, but for the YouTube folks, just remember, for YouTube can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $3 a month by joining Patreon, and you'll get exclusive access to Patreon content, our Discord chat page, which I believe at last count was up to 8 different channels, as well as receiving the now confirmed and seen in the wild Gold Tone Freemasons podcast pin for as little as $3 a month.
And I think we're going to finish smashing down some of this lead slingers and then go watch the Jets game. What do you think?
Yes,
brother?
Absolutely. There's nothing I like better than seeing you and the Jets get smashed. No?
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.